And my coffee. I'm ready to do a voiceover. I'm ready to show you guys how to make chocolate latte cream pie. This was gonna be a mole cream pie, but come on. That would have made me look like I'm trying way too hard. And my mom would have been mad. So, it's gonna be chocolate cream pie. Latte. Style. Latte style. That's an inside joke for only one person out there. Okay, so start with some espresso. And just go get a couple pulls from your local barista who's surely tatted up, you know. Or make some on your cheap, crappy DeLonghi espresso maker. It's not that crappy. It's fine. It works. I'm going to include all the ingredients down in the description, as always. And so I don't have to say them out loud. So just pull a couple shots of espresso. Or go pull them from the counter at your local spot and head back home if you're going to make this. Or maybe just use coffee from your morning with the auto drip that you didn't drink. Try that too. It'd be fun. Graham crackers are going to go in the food processor first, and we're going to get a really good pulse on these. It was super hard to find graham crackers during this time of the pandemic, but eventually I grabbed some. While this is going on, I'm also melting a stick of butter on the stove for combination with the graham crackers, as well as all the other things we're going to pop in there, like ground espresso, just to kick up that coffee flavor a little more, brown sugar, and you're going to whisk that all together. Make sure it's well combined. You don't want any of the espresso or the brown sugar to clump up. And then once your butter is completely melted, just dump it in the center of your graham cracker and spice mixture. Not spice, but additional. Oh, you fucking son of a bitch. Somebody's fucking texting me. Ruined my fucking voiceover. I'm gonna fucking explode. I'm gonna walk off the set.
Fuck are you walking right through? Da-da-da-da like this in the background. What the fuck is it with you? You got any fucking idea about, hey, it's fucking distracting having somebody walking up behind Bryce in the middle of the fucking scene?
Hello again. We're back. And what you're going to want to do is pour your espresso graham cracker crust into your prepared pie dish, 9-inch pie dish, and press it down with some sort of flat kitchen instrument, such as this 1-cup measuring cup. Do your best to work the crust around the sides and be very gentle with it, because it is tricky. But you do want to spend a little bit more time on this than normal, just so you can get it perfect. And then once you do get it perfect, go ahead and throw it in the oven, which has been preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And in 15 minutes, you're going to have a very lovely espresso graham cracker crust. So now it's time to prepare our filling, and we have to make a espresso chocolate pudding for the inside of this lovely pie. And we're going to start with it's a mix of chocolates, because that's what I had around the house, and it really did come out great. But a majority of this is 80% cacao dark chocolate, and then there's some 70% mixed in there as well. So it's pretty dark chocolate, and what you want to do is just take a rough chop to this so it melts a little bit easier when we stir it into the pudding. But you don't have to do a combination of chips and the bar like this at all. It's just what I had in the house. So yeah, either do all chips or all bar or a little bit of everything. It's not going to matter, because it's all just going to go in a piping hot pudding and pretty much instantaneously melt. So here we go with the pudding. What do? Do we separate the egg in the pint glass or here, or, well, okay, clearly not that way. Right. I really don't know why I couldn't have just used the shell to separate the eggs like I typically do. I wanted to be a smart ass about it. No shocker there, but we're going to reserve these egg whites actually for later when we make some gin fizzes, because you don't want to just throw them in the trash. So once you have all your yolks, go ahead and put them in a bowl to mix up, throw your cornstarch in, and whisk that together. until it is well combined and most of the cornstarch has declumpified. And you don't want big hunks of cornstarch in there, so whisk it the best you can. It's still going to be kind of granular, but head over to your stove with a medium saucepan. I like to use this lower profile one for when I make pudding for pies. And the whole milk is going to go in, then the white sugar, the espresso, the Kahlua, and you're just going to turn that up over like medium-high heat, and don't bring it to a ripping old boil. You're going to want to just slowly bring it up to kind of a near boil, like almost a simmer. And as you can see there, I'm using the old index finger test. And once it is pretty hot, I mean the steam is flowing off that, you're going to bring it over to wherever you have your eggs in the bowl and begin to temper the eggs. So just introduce a little bit of the liquid at a time. Whisk, liquid, whisk, repeat. And then you're going to have that mixture, which is unscrambled but tempered egg yolks. Bring it back over to the stove, crank up the gas, and quickly whisk the yolks into your mixture. And this is going to seize up pretty fast. Use a spatula to get all along the sides and the bottom, because you don't want any clumps to develop, any sort of scrambling to develop. Like if you were making ice cream, that's a no-no. But it's not as catastrophic as if you were making ice cream and you didn't pay really close attention to it. Grab those butter patties and begin to stir those in with the spatula until they are completely melted, and this is really going to help with the luxuriousness of the pudding of the cake. Once the butter's completely melted, take your pan off the stovetop and begin to whisk in your baker's chocolate and your chocolate chips, and bring everything together into a very, very nice, smooth mixture. And, as you see there, I was kind of like lifting up to see the viscousness of it, but the whole purpose of this is to cool down and set up, so it's really not that big of a deal. This is going to be a great consistency for our final product. So as you can see, this is still pretty hot, but you're going to want to pour it in to the crust while it is hot, and then just put the crust in the refrigerator and optimally let it seize up overnight. So a little story here, guys. I had to do an emergency preparation of our latte pie. I wanted to wait till the next morning when I had really good lighting to take nice pictures of it and the whole deal, but obviously in life things don't always go according to plan. And full disclosure on this one, guys, I did this because we had to bring something to a family friend who unfortunately is extremely terminally ill, and it was far more important than taking a couple silly, well-lit pictures to provide a source of comfort to somebody in need, because there's certainly a large gap between what people want to do and, taking an image or something like that for a social media, and an actual necessity of providing for somebody's emotional support. So then the only thing left to do is make the fresh whipped cream, which will be applied for the topping of this chocolate latte cream pie, and just do your best to spread it. It can be a little tricky because it sticks to the spoon. You could certainly break out a spatula to do this, or just kind of work it around the edges like I am here and feather it out. And yeah, I put almost all of the whipped cream on top. You want a huge layer, nice fluffy layer, and then you could go ahead and dust it with some cocoa powder to add a little bit more character and aesthetic appeal to this pie, which, as you see, is pretty appealing looking. Look at that pudding. Nice. Pretty good sheen on that, baby. This is really good, guys. Make this for dessert. It's good for summertime dessert because it's cold, and instead of people obviously have coffee at the end of a meal in a lot of instances, or espresso. It's typical. Maybe, I don't know. That's what people do in New Jersey. It's like that's a thing. East Coast thing. I don't think anybody in California is drinking coffee at 9 o'clock at night. You guys are already in bed. But yeah, we drink coffee at 9 o'clock at night because we're fucking hardcore. So make this for people, and maybe they could just have this instead of a cup of joe before they head home. You know? All right, guys. That's enough. Let me know what you think, and see you soon. Bye-bye.